I'm Grace Lesbrunz, Cascade Supervisor. Clerk Slater, please call the roll.
Trustee Nordhook.
Here.
Trustee McDonald.
Here.
Supervisor Lesbrunz.
Here.
Treasurer Corsange is excused. Trustee Kessel.
Here.
Trustee Shipley.
Present.
And Clerk Slater here.
We please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and then following the pledge, please remain standing while we observe a moment of silence for the victims of the September 11th attack and also all the first responders. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Article 3, is there a motion or discussion for approval of tonight's agenda?
Shipley makes a motion to approve the agenda as presented for the evening. Support.
Motion by trustee Shipley, supported by trustee McDonald to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Having no presentations tonight, Article 5, public comments. Now is the time for anything that's on tonight's agenda that's not already scheduled for a public hearing. That would be the 2025 through 2030 capital improvements plan that's on the agenda tonight. Also Heritage Festival and the fire department's risk reduction grant application. Is there anyone virtually? Okay. Article 6, approval of the consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve. Shipley supports.
It's a motion by trustee Kessel, supported by trustee Shipley to approve the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Article 7, financial actions, specifically the invoices set to be paid tomorrow, September 12th, and also the financial statements for July of this year. Is there discussion or a motion?
Shipley makes a motion to approve the invoices to be paid on 9/12 and the financial statements of July 2024. Support.
It's a motion by trustee Shipley, supported by trustee Nordhook to approve the financial actions as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Having no unfinished business, Article 9, new business. First, item 069, 2024. Adoption of a 2025 through 2030 capital improvements plan. The capital improvements plan is basically a planning and budgeting tool that goes hand in hand with creation of the annual budget. It's basically a prioritized list of anticipated large expenses, and it's important to ensure that all of the township's goals are aligned with planning, land use, zoning, and different community services. So with that, Manager Smith, I'll turn it over to you. And we also have Planning Director Nana Ricci here tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, Finance Director.
She switched roles.
Stay in your lane. That's good.
So I think the RBA pretty much explains what's before you tonight. We did have a work session on August 28th where we reviewed the 6-year CIP plan. The 2025 expenditures, unless there's any changes, will be incorporated into the budget that will be presented to you within the next 30 to 60 days for consideration. And then after that, each year we will go through the same process of discussion of the capital items for that particular, for those next 5 years, and adding on a year to that every single year to make sure that we always have a 5-year capital improvements plan. There were some changes that were requested at the work session. Those have been incorporated into this plan that's before you tonight. So if there's, I'll turn over to Lorna if she has anything to add. Otherwise, we are here for questions. And hopefully approval.
I move to adopt the capital improvement plan as presented. It was very well vetted at the workshop session, and thanks for the changes.
Support.
Further discussion? Finance Director Nanarichi, would you like to talk? The only reason okay,
You never argue with yes.
all right. Any questions? Oh, this is the time for the public to review it and discuss it. So, yeah, I think it looks good too. It's detailed and consistent with what we've seen, but if anyone has any comments, now is the time. Okay, that was a motion by trustee McDonald, supported by trustee Nordhook to approve the 2025 through 2030 capital improvement plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And will this plan be available on our website once it's adopted?
It will.
Okay. And will this also be discussed as part of our budget?
It will.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Because in this plan, there's actually some different funding mechanisms too that will be we'll know within those separate funding sources where some of this capital outlay is coming from. Are going to be charged to.
Next, item 070-2024, resolution for Heritage Festival road closure. Smith?
Yes, so this was actually supposed to come to you before. This event is actually this Saturday. It was an oversight on my part. We have the Heritage Festival, which is happening on Orange Avenue at the the new stone house, which is new to the township's possession, but it's actually quite old. We did find out it's going to be celebrating its 100th year anniversary or birthday next year. So we're already working on something for next year. But this is to let the county know that we are in favor of closing that road, which is Orange Avenue, on Saturday from 10 in the morning, I believe, until the event is over at 10 p.m.
I make a motion to approve the resolution for Heritage Festival
Yeah.
road closure.
Got a question for the manager. Has office received any comments from the residents up in that neck of the woods?
No. And actually, on that particular stretch of Orange Avenue, there are no residents. It's the church across the street plus a realty company to the I'm directionally challenged still, but next door.
And this has been a traditional event, so I was just curious if there were any negative comments from up there.
Not yet.
Okay, thank you.
Do those houses, those residents further down Orange Avenue have access to get out?
They do. The access road that goes along the church off of Thornapple River Drive is not going to be closed as it has been in the past.
Support.
That was a motion by Clerk Slater, supported by trustee McDonald to approve the resolution as stated, closing Orange Avenue this Saturday from noon until 10 p.m. for Heritage Festival. Clerk Slater, please call the roll.
Trustee Shipley,
Yes.
trustee Kessel,
Yes.
trustee McDonald.
Yes.
Trustee Nordhook.
Yes.
Slater, yes. Supervisor Lesper.
Yes, motion carried. Last item of new business 071-2024, the resolution for fire department's risk reduction grant. And we don't have Deputy Chief Stevens here tonight, do we?
I got it.
Okay.
No, he's not here. This agenda item before you is really just resolving that you agree with the application process for the fire department to apply for this grant. If we have not done this in the past, this is a grant that is through our risk management company that basically our insurance company. It is standard for them to offer small grants through an application process to its members that actually would reduce the risk of having any coverage that they would have to cover. So for instance, on this one, we're applying for some safety product so hopefully to notify motorists of where the first responders are and their vehicles so that to hopefully deter accidents. But they're small grants. But again, it's worthwhile applying. The application process is fairly simple. And it's something that us as a member of the PAR plan are eligible to do.
Great. Questions, discussions, motions?
So how much is this grant worth?
Just under $5,000.
Okay, so if we don't get this grant, I think it might be something to look at for our fire guys to have on site.
We can do that. I am going to go out on a limb and guess that the chance of award is pretty high.
Okay. Thanks.
Shipley makes a motion to approve the fire department risk reduction grant.
Support.
The motion by trustee Shipley, supported by trustee Kessel, to approve the risk reduction grant from the Michigan Township Participating Plan. Clerk Slater, please call the roll.
Trustee Nordhook.
Yes.
Trustee McDonald.
Yes.
Trustee Kessel.
Yes.
Trustee Shipley.
Yes.
Clerk Slater, yes. Supervisor Lesbrunz.
Yes, motion carried. Having no discussion items tonight, Article 11, public comments, anything, whether it was on tonight's agenda or not. Welcome, sir.
Hi, Nick Katsourelis, 2985 Berwick. 2 weeks ago, we had the contractors here to talk about the Cascade Road construction project. And if I heard correctly, they're going to start because of issues that are kind of outside their hands. They're going to start some of the construction in December, in the fall, right? And then end by Christmas and then pick it up again and finish by Memorial Day. So just food for thought, and you can comment on this later. Would it make more sense to just have them start in the spring and then finish in one fell swoop rather than having this long extended period where they're going to start, then they can't work anymore in the winter and then pick it up again in the spring? Just makes more sense to me, but I'm sure that you guys have thought about that, but just wanted to bring that up.
Thank you. We can
Okay.
hit that in board or manager comments, and that was one of the options that was discussed.
Okay, all right.
Anyone else in person or virtually?
Yes, just a second. Scott, can you hear me?
Yes.
You're on.
All right. Hi there, Scott Van Salkema. I also kind of agree with the gentleman that just spoke. I mean, that bridge has been like that for probably 30 some years already or more at its current configuration. And I know you guys did decide to do the two-stage thing, but you never know what Mother Nature's going to do. I mean, heck, it snowed last Halloween. So granted, it didn't stick, but it's still, you never know what she's going to do. So that's my comment. Also, another is whatever happened to those little speed boards that would hang up on the various telephone poles? I still see the mounts, but I haven't seen those boards out in quite some time. I have seen the portable speed trailer that the sheriff's office can drive around, but what happened to our speed boards that we had? So those are, oh, and thank you. I see that the lawn finally got mowed on that house on Cascade Road that I've been asking for all summer. Looks like they almost needed to bale it, all the grass there, but it did finally get mowed. So I appreciate if you guys had anything to do with that. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, this is a quick one. Article 12, manager comments.
Just a couple of things. I'll address the bridge. I believe that there was lengthy conversation at the last board meeting where the contractor and our engineering firm presented two different options. One was to wait through the fall and do it all in the spring. But I think through that discussion, it was pretty clear that the direction was to move with the two-phase approach. We will work with the contractor to make sure that there's no minimal traffic impediments to people traveling the roads and make sure that they are holding up their end of the bargain. This contract was supposed to get started already, and due to the circumstances that they presented, that's just not happening. So we will hold their feet to the fire on this one. This is not uncommon to actually start a project in the fall and then go into the spring, but a lot of times if a community chooses to do that, they actually have to play for winter mobilization and winter charges, as there's different types of prep work that has to be done for construction. Because this was the contractor's fault, we are not having to pay that. So this is the course that the board decided. So that's the direction that we're moving forward. I actually just signed the contract yesterday, so.
And
Jade, I think the driving condition was that if we wait until spring, they wouldn't finish until the end of August versus the end of Memorial Day. So
Yes.
we want to have it done. We don't want to have to wait all summer.
Yeah, you're correct. Yes.
And we had the insurances correct from both our engineer and also the contractor that if there was, if the delay or the gap in between, it'd be buttoned up and it would be totally usable to
Correct. Yep.
one side too, right? I think.
Yes, yes. Mhm. And then I just want to talk just briefly, just for, to educate everybody about the ordinance process. I know we had some success by getting the lawn mowed for a house that's been talked about for a few months with tall grass, but there is a process we have to go through. We can't just go onto somebody's lawn and cut the grass and the minute we see that it's out of compliance. So in certain cases, this actually takes court action, writes tickets, and you all know how the legal process works. So this one did take a little bit, and it did take the issuance of a ticket. So that's what it took to get compliance. But I'm glad to see that it did get mowed as well.
And the fact is, we are issuing tickets when we have to, as opposed to
Correct.
under prior management.
And then the other thing I just want to invite everybody to is, we already talked about it, but is this Saturday, the 14th of September from 5 to 9 at the newly acquired historic stone house on Orange Avenue. We are having a Heritage Festival. I believe this is the third year for this, but this year it's going to be a little bit bigger and better. We're utilizing the property that we own. We're in beer and wine tent, live music. We've got pygmy goats coming for the other kids activities. We actually have some vendors and businesses that are participating that are part of our DDA coming over and actually offering their product, like so for food. Food trucks will be there. And then we are partnering with an organization out of Grand Rapids to actually put on an art exhibit inside the stone house. It's called All Artworks. It's out of Grand Rapids. They're a nonprofit. And so we're really excited to showcase the stone house, showcase the property, and show what it can actually do for the synergy of our village area, and then promote Cascade's unique character and its heritage. Oh, and then there's one other thing that has been planned last minute. It's actually called it's a scavenger hunt, but there's a lot of historical points of interest right in that village area. So we have 9 spots that have historical significance that you can go on a tour. There'll be people at each location talking about the history of that particular location. And then there might be a prize at the end for the kids. So I hope to see everybody on Saturday. That's all I have.
Board comments, Article 13.
Before I thank everybody for being here, I did receive 2 resident customer concerns. Apparently, we have individuals interfering with traffic flow, actually in the traffic lanes with their signs asking for financial help at Hotel Street and 28th Street.
Okay.
That traditionally has been a problem, and there was at least one individual that had a near miss because they were forced to go around. The people are not moving back to the curb. They're staying in the traffic lane.
Which one's Hotel Street?
Costco, Target,
Okay.
Bob Evans,
Yep.
for those that like gravy sausage. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for everything you do. I see a couple of people here that are been in tune with volunteerism in the township. Nick, thanks for coming down again. And bring your friends next time. More people we have, the better discussion we have. That's all I have. Thank you.
I just wanted to thank everybody on behalf of the board for all the work that went into the capital improvements plan. The department heads, especially Director Nenarici and Manager Smith. I know it was a quick discussion tonight, but that's because you guys did so much work behind the scenes, and we know it's pretty, so thank you. And then also just welcoming everybody. Hopefully you guys will come out Saturday and we'll see you between the bridal shop and the liquor store in that little area back there. It should be a good time, and hopefully we have great weather for it. Any other comments?
Congratulations on 1 year.
Oh, that's
Yes.
right.
Today,
You've gotten a lot done. Your hair looks a little more gray, but
a little longer. I can't even get a haircut.
you don't have time. Your priorities are right.
Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thanks for coming back. We
Thanks for
didn't.
having me.
Well, thank you, Jade, for all you've done. You've really done a ton.
Thanks.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Shipley Sports.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. Thanks for coming in person tonight.
Hey, Jade.